We've made a slight wardrobe change for this segment because I think we plan to get down and dirty outside one of the wild caves here in the Buffalo River region. With me is a well-known cave expert, Robert Ginsburg. Now, Robert, I guess first of all, we need to point out the three basic points that the cavers need to know.
The rule of three, if you're going to go caving, is a good rule to abide by. You should never have less than 3 sources of light. 2 of them can go out, so it's nice to have at least 3 sources of light. It's a good idea to go with at least 3 people. If somebody gets hurt, you have someone to send for help, and you also have someone to stay with the victim. And then when you're climbing on any vertical kind of a cave, you want to keep 3 points of contact, a hand and 2 feet, or 2 hands and a feet, so if one slips, you're still not going to fall. The other basic rules have to do with letting somebody know where you are. It's hard enough to find somebody in the woods, but imagine finding somebody down in a hole. So those are just some of the real basic things that you want to follow if you're going to do any wild caving. It's not an activity to be taken lightly. There's definitely dangers that lurk down there.
And this is a vertical entrance here, so we're going to be doing a little rappelling down, I understand?
Yeah, we'll harness up and we'll drop down. It's not a very deep entrance. It drops into the stream passage, and once we're down into the stream passage, it's pretty much a horizontal cave. We'll follow the stream back up into this mountain.
The thing about exploring a wild cave, it's not going to be lit up like a show or tourist cave. The only light inside is the light you bring in. And that's exactly what we'd like to portray to you in this segment, along with the hollow sounds of talking inside a cave.
Part of spelunking, I guess, is going through passageways like this, makes it even more interesting.
This is calcite crystal that's leaching out of the walls. The water's worked its way down. It's dissolved the limestone and reformed the limestone in the form of these calcite crystals, which are flowing back over the rock and giving it that crystal layer. That's what's building up the rimstone dams. It's also one of the reasons that it's so fragile. You don't even want to walk on this because obviously you destroy the crystals if you're walking on it. All of these formations are being redeposited back into what was eroded out by water in the form of these gorgeous draperies and bacon strips. And maybe we can get the camera to show how you can really see light through the back of these. Can you see that?
Some of what you may see inside a cave may even resemble the surface of, say, Mars.
It does seem like an alien world at times, these strange shapes and formations and sounds, but on a day like today, which is late August, it's a great day to go underground because it's about 50 degrees down here, so you come out of the sweltering heat, and conversely, in the winter, when it's freezing cold, it's still about 50 degrees, so there's that appeal. You do have to be aware of the weather outside, because if it's rainstorms and so forth, you certainly don't want to get into an underground cave that might flood, but it really is just a great combination of physical exertion, adventure, and discovery. I mean, there's so much to be discovered underground, and it really, in many ways, is an indication of what's going on the surface. It's almost like a blood test. You know, everything that happens on the surface ultimately makes its way down into the ground. In that respect, I think it gives us a whole new understanding of the impact we have on the planet. But just the adventure aspect of it, and there's still new caves being discovered in Arkansas, caves that have probably never been inhabited or visited by humans before, so there's that sense of exploration. And again, the analogy of going to another planet certainly applies to that. But to be able to go somewhere where perhaps no one has gone before, it's hard to believe that they have. And it's sort of, for me, the same experience as walking down a river. You always want to know what's around the next turn. Well, caves are certainly that way. A lot of times they'll just dead end, and that'll be the end of it. The next time you go into that cave, you might find a way around that dead end and discover a whole new part of the cave that you didn't even know existed. So that certainly is part of the allure, the discovery, and just the grandeur of it, knowing that you're literally inside of the earth. And who knows, there's probably some primordial, instinctive aspect of humans going underground back to the very dawn of man. So all those things come together to make it an activity that I've really come to enjoy, and it certainly has become a part of my identity. I spend a lot of time underground. And we're really looking at the underside of a flowstone, and the bottom of this flowstone is just heavily decorated with these stalactites. And you could walk right by this because this is kind of at waist level and never realize that if you stoop down and look underneath here, it's just a forest of stalactites that runs about, I would say, 30 feet down this water passage. And if you look closely, you can even see where the water drops are coming off the bottom of the stalactites. And it also looks almost icy, like an icicle. And that's the calcite forming, continuing the growth of the stalactites. That's good.
Yeah, spelunking. You gotta love it.
So explore for yourself one of the wild and exciting caves in the Ozark Mountain region. And a good way to do that is to join an organization like the Boston Mountain Grotto. And then take a ride on an elephant at Riddle's Elephant Sanctuary near Guy. And by all means, check out all the lions and tigers and bears at Turpentine Creek Wildlife Refuge near Eureka Springs. And for more info on these and other destinations, visit our website at aetn.org/exploring Arkansas. And we'll see you again the next time for another exciting adventure on Exploring Arkansas.